You ever noticed how some children apologize the way other kids breathe? Sorry, mommy. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Sorry, sorry, sorry. According to a Yale developmental study, children who say sorry too often aren't trying to be polite, they're trying to feel safe. That one hits, doesn't it? Because suddenly you start replaying little moments in your head, wondering, is my child being polite or are they scared of disappointing me? Imagine this. You walk into the living room, a cup of juice is spilled. Before you even open your mouth, your child jumps. Sorry, sorry, I'll clean it. Please don't be mad. You weren't even mad yet. Honestly, you were more mad at the cup for having terrible balance. But your child wasn't reacting to the spill, they were reacting to a fear, the fear of being the problem. Kids who apologize constantly often move through the world like they're tiptoeing across thin ice. Every step tested, every word measured. And the heartbreaking part, you can almost see them shrinking, like they're trying to make themselves small enough to never cause trouble. And here's the twist most parents never see coming. A child who says sorry too much isn't weak. They're hyper-aware. In fact, a Stanford psychologist once said that overly apologetic children have emotional antennas so sharp they can detect disappointment before it even exists. It's funny and sad and true. Now picture this other moment. You raise your voice, not even yelling, just the annoyed, "Can you please put your shoes on?" tone. Your child instantly whispers, "Sorry." And that tiny trembling sorry feels like a punch to the heart. Because you didn't ask for an apology, you asked for shoes. Here's the part that stings a little. Sometimes kids say sorry too much because they learn that mistakes equal danger. Maybe not physical danger, but emotional danger. A disappointed parent, an angry sigh, a sarcastic, "Really? Again?" To us, these reactions are small. To them, these reactions are earthquakes. If you've ever seen your child say sorry for simply existing, stay with me. Because in the next minute, you might feel the emotional weight your child has been carrying quietly, politely, and with a smile that hides more fear than you think. Children who over-apologize often grow up believing that love is conditional. That affection is something you earn by being as unproblematic as possible. That being easy makes you worthy. And ironically, they become the most thoughtful children, the sweetest, the ones who will give you the bigger cookie and take the smaller one. But behind their sweetness is a silent exhaustion, the exhaustion of always policing their own existence. And yes, humor helps us breathe a little, so let's add this. You know your child's an over-apologizer when you bump into them and they say, "Oh, sorry." Like, "Sweetheart, I'm the one who walked into you. You're not at fault for existing in a hallway." But even that tiny moment tells us something powerful. Kids who always say sorry have learned that being wrong is their default assumption. And that is where healing begins. By helping them learn that mistakes are not crimes, imperfections are not sins, and accidents are not character flaws. So where does this "I'm always wrong" feeling begin? Sometimes it starts in places parents never notice. The small, almost invisible moments. A rushed morning, a stressed voice, a sharp sigh. And suddenly your child studies your face the way a scientist studies weather patterns, trying to predict storms before they come. Children who over-apologize are emotional meteorologists. They track your eyebrows, the tone of your breath, the rhythm of your footsteps, not because they're trying to manipulate you, but because they're trying to survive disappointment. And let's be honest, parenthood is chaotic. You wake up tired, and by the time the day starts, it feels like you've already lost the battle. Your kid spills cereal, the milk carton leaks. Suddenly you're like, it's not even 8 a.m. and we're already emotionally broken. Fantastic. But here's something that will surprise you. Research published in the Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry shows that children who repeatedly apologize often come from homes with normal, loving parents, but parents who unintentionally send big signals
through small reactions. Not yelling, not punishing, just things like, "Why would you do that? I told you already. That's not what I said." Simple words that feel harmless to adults, but to a sensitive child, those words feel like, "You messed up again. You're too much. You should have known better." Kids like these carry emotional notebooks in their hearts, checking off every mistake they make. They develop a scoreboard where every error feels like a point deducted from their worth. Here's the twist, though. It's not really about the mistakes, it's about approval. Children who say sorry too much are desperately trying to protect the relationship. Your love is their oxygen. Your disappointment is their winter. And when a child believes that a parent's love becomes colder when they make mistakes, they start apologizing as a survival skill. Let me give you a moment that might hit home. Your child breaks a toy. You're tired, your patience is on 2%, and you sigh, "Come on, really?" Watch their face. Their eyes lower. Their shoulders fold. They don't just say sorry, they deflate. Because to them, that sigh wasn't about the toy. It was about them. And if you're feeling a little guilty right now, breathe. You are not a bad parent. You're a human parent. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to understand. If you've ever had moments like this, stay with me because the next part will show you how to help your child rewrite that sorry into something healthier, something stronger. But before that, if you're a parent who's ever whispered, "I don't understand my child," hit that subscribe button because here we listen to the words they can't say. Now let's go deeper. Here's a truth that child psychologists talk about quietly. When a child apologizes too much, it's not because they're well-mannered, it's because they're afraid their identity is tied to how easy they are to handle. They think, if I'm perfect, I'll be loved. If I behave, I won't be a burden. If I say sorry first, no one can be mad at me. It's like they're constantly walking around with a shield made of apologies. And that shield becomes their personality. They grow into the child who avoids asking for help. The child who freezes when someone else is upset. The child who whispers instead of speaking. The child who volunteers to give up the bigger slice even when no one asked. Because somewhere deep inside, they believe, my needs are smaller than everyone else's. But here's where the magic happens. Children can unlearn this. Their emotional scripts can be rewritten. Their hearts can be taught that love isn't something they earn by being mistake-free. It's something they receive simply because they exist. And the first step begins with the parent understanding the truth. A child who says sorry too much isn't trying to annoy you. They're trying to protect themselves. The question now is, protect themselves from what?
So, what exactly is your child trying to protect themselves from? It's rarely you. It's rarely punishment. It's rarely even anger. Most of the time, they're protecting themselves from a feeling. The fear of being the reason someone they love becomes upset. Children don't fear consequences the way adults think they do. They fear emotional disconnection. They fear the shift in your tone. They fear that moment when your face hardens, even for a second, because to them, that second feels like an eternity where your love becomes a little harder to reach. A child who says sorry too much is a child who is terrified of losing warmth. Think about that. Your warmth is the sun in their universe. Your approval is spring. Your disapproval, even mild, is winter. And sometimes all it takes is a single cold breeze for a sensitive child to start apologizing for every step they take. But here's the healing truth. Children don't need perfect parents. They need predictable ones. If a child knows that your love doesn't melt away when they spill something, break something, or forget something, they stop apologizing as a reflex and start apologizing with awareness. And awareness is what leads to confidence. So how do we help a child who apologizes too much? You don't start by saying, "Stop apologizing." That's like telling a frightened heart to stop beating fast.
Instead, you build a different emotional map for them. Start with this simple shift. When your child says sorry for something small, respond with warmth that rewrites the moment. Things like, "You don't have to say sorry for accidents. Everyone makes them." Or, "I'm not upset. You're safe." Or, "It's okay. Mistakes help us learn." You'd be shocked at how quickly their eyes soften. Because suddenly, the apology isn't a shield anymore, it's a bridge. Sensitive children don't need toughness. They need translation. They need to learn that your sigh doesn't mean withdrawal. Your silence doesn't mean disappointment. Your frustration doesn't mean rejection. Let's make this practical with a moment that might sound familiar. Your child knocks over a glass. It shatters. They freeze. Their mouth opens with that automatic, "I'm sorry." Pause them gently. Say, "You're not in trouble. Let's just clean it together." Watch how their shoulders fall. Not from fear, from relief. Relief is the beginning of emotional reprogramming. Over-apologizing kids don't grow confidence by being told they're wrong less. They grow confidence by being shown they're safe more. Safe to spill. Safe to ask. Safe to forget. Safe to take up space. Safe to exist without apologizing for the shape of their existence. And here's something subtle but powerful. Show them the difference between responsibility and guilt. Responsibility sounds like, "Next time, let's slow down so the water doesn't spill." Guilt sounds like, "Why did you do that?" Sensitive children respond to responsibility with growth. They respond to guilt with shrinking. And you want a child who grows, not one who constantly folds themselves into smaller versions of who they could be. So here's the heart of it all. A child who apologizes too much is a child that has been carrying too much. Not because you're a bad parent, but because they love you so deeply that even your tiniest reactions feel enormous in their world. And you can help them lighten that weight simply by reminding them again and again, "You are safe with me." Because safety for a child is the soil where confidence grows. And if this made you see your child in a new light, subscribe. Because sometimes children don't need parents who are perfect. They need parents who understand the things their child cannot put into words. And before we end, I want to leave you with one question. A soft one, but one that stays in the heart long after the video ends. The next time your child whispers sorry, ask yourself, are they apologizing for the mistake? Or are they apologizing for themselves? The answer will tell you everything about what their little heart needs from you.